So what was that 10-year-old Michio Kaku doing?
When I write books or do TV interviews, I imagine myself as being a 10-year-old child because I was so frustrated because I knew there was a lot of interesting stuff being done on the fourth dimension, antimatter, parallel universes, space warps. I knew somebody was working on it, but hey, I went to the library and I found nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not a single work that could explain to me the fourth dimension, antimatter, space warps. I knew that people were working on them, but I couldn't access it. So I said to myself, when I grow up and I become a professor of theoretical physics, I want to make sure that in addition to research, I write books and do appearances to explain to 10-year-old children.
You knew at the age of 10 that you wanted to be a theoretical physicist?
That's right. When I was 8, something happened which changed my whole life. It was in all the newspapers. A great scientist had just died. It was like Michael Jackson. All the papers put it on their front page. And then they showed a picture of his desk that I'll never forget. A picture of his desk with a book on it. And the caption said, "Unfinished manuscript from the greatest scientist of our time." Later, I realized it was Albert Einstein, who had just died. And that book, I later found out after years of digging, was the theory of everything. It was to be the crowning achievement of 2,000 years of investigation into the nature of space, time, matter, and energy. He wanted an equation no more than 1 inch long that would summarize all physical knowledge. E equals mc squared is ½ an inch long, and that unlocked the secret of the stars. Why do stars shine? Why do we have energy? Why do we have the Earth? Because of one equation, ½ an inch long, E equals mc squared. He wanted a similar equation for the universe, and he failed. And I said to myself, that's for me. When I grow up, I want to consider this an adventure story, a murder mystery. This is going to be an adventure trying to complete that book. Well, now I can read that book, and I realized that, yeah, there were a lot of dead ends that he was investigating, but he failed because he didn't understand the nuclear force. You can't blame him. The atomic bomb had just been detonated.
Sure.
And we didn't know that much about the nuclear force. Now we do. We have a near complete understanding of the nuclear force. And the key to the nuclear force could be tiny vibrating strings. And that's what I do for a living. That's my day job. I'm the co-founder of string field theory, one of the main branches of string theory. And I work on completing this dream of a theory of everything.
So if you had the opportunity to meet Albert Einstein, and who knows, maybe we'll be able to bring him back if some of this stuff proves to be true.
We have his brain, by the way.
Yeah. What would you say to him?
Well, first of all, when Einstein died, the doctor who did the autopsy kidnapped the brain without anyone's permission, put it in his living room for about 30 years. It was sitting in a cooler in his living room. And he drove cross country putting Einstein's brain in a mayonnaise jar.
This is for real.
This is for real. It's so bizarre that a documentary was made about where is Einstein's brain. Now it's back at Princeton where it should be. And we can now analyze the brain because it's still preserved. And maybe one of these days people will get genes from the genome from the brain and perhaps bring back baby Einstein.
But you didn't answer my question. What would you say to him?
I would ask him, is string theory the final theory? Okay. He spent 30 years of his life, okay, chasing after the theory of everything from around 1920 to around 1950. And we're going to summarize the theory into a small little equation. And is this what he was looking for? Einstein gave us the fourth dimension. He was tinkering with the fifth dimension. String theory goes to 11 dimensions. And I'd love to ask him, is this why you failed? Because you didn't go far enough. In string theory, we can go to 11 dimensions. He got stuck at 5. And I want to ask him a question, is this the reason why you failed?
But he may not have had the same tools you have.
Yeah, today we have much more sophisticated tools than were available. Because, I mean, after all, he was 50 years ahead of his time. He was working with mathematics that only 50 years later we finally completed. And so you can't blame the guy. Plus the nuclear force. The nuclear force was a mystery during most of Einstein's life. Now, as I mentioned, we have a near complete understanding of the nuclear force.
Dr. Michio Kaku, thank you so much.
My pleasure.